Welcome to Ultimate Playlist. I'm Matt. That's Briggs. And this is a show where Briggs and I come up with the best 10 songs around a theme, creating its ultimate playlist, each one of us contributing our top 5. And today's theme is ultimate 1980s TV theme songs.
That is true. The 80s was a great time for TV themes. Lots of iconic stuff.
Yep.
Lots to choose from, I found. It was a little harder than I expected to narrow it down, and I'm sure I missed some stuff because there was just so much.
There's a lot. I put some.
Yeah.
I kept having to change mine because then I kept running into things that I would sort of change. Well, but I had to change my rules around it. I was like,
oh okay.
So I ended up coming up with some rules and parameters, which we can get into as we go.
Yeah, sure.
But that actually limited down what I could choose by a considerable amount. So,
yep, I did that also for similar reasons. So I think we're on the same page.
Okay,
so
cool.
Should we get into it with my number 5?
Yeah, let's go with your number 5.
My number 5 is the Gummi Bears theme song, performed by Joseph Williams.
Along with the secret of gummy berry juice, their legend is growing. They take pride in knowing they'll fight for what's right in whatever they do. Gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere. High adventure that's beyond compare. They are the gummy bears. They are the gummy bears.
Ridiculous. You are ridiculous, Briggs.
Hey, I had to pick it, and I'll tell you why. I mean, first of all, you know it.
Yeah, I do.
It's memorable. It's super catchy. I mean, it didn't hit the charts or anything, but it is sung by Joseph Williams, who was in Toto.
Oh.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Joseph Williams, son of John Williams, noted film composer.
That bastard's still alive and going, too. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. He's old.
He's so
John
good.
Williams, how old is he now? He's got to be
close to, if not 90, maybe 90-ish. But he's still doing
91.
scores.
I just looked it up. He's 91.
I think within the last couple years,
What a boss.
he's done a score or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
why not, right? If you got it in you, let it out.
He's got it. He's done some of the best stuff. I mean, Jaws is just brilliant. Like,
there's so many that are so good.
the half step is like perfect for Jaws.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then all the Star Wars stuff and all the
So much.
Yeah, he's great. But I didn't know that about his son.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Who was also in Toto.
Right. That's cool. Yeah. Okay, maybe tell me a little bit more about it.
Sure. I mean, Gummi Bears was a pretty ridiculous show, but it was on from 1985 to 1991. And it was about the gummy bears, who were these mythical creatures who people thought did not exist, but they actually existed.
Of course.
And they drank gummy berry juice, which gave them special powers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a catchy, infectious song, and I had to put it on my list.
Do you remember if they each had their own different superpower, or was there all? Did they all have the same superpower?
They could all bounce. I think they could all bounce. Maybe they had other superpowers each. I'm not sure.
I mean, I know I watched this cartoon, but
yeah,
did they
me too. I remember the song more than the show, though.
But yeah, because I was gonna say I don't remember what they did, what their exploits were. If they were like detectives, if they were solving crimes, if they had a bad guy they were facing off against.
Yeah, I think there were some humans that were like out to get them.
Oh, maybe to capture them.
Yeah, some people knew about their existence. Maybe I do know that magic and mystery are part of their history.
Has to be. No, you're right. That's an infectious song. And I should have thought about the cartoons, and I didn't.
There's so many.
There's so many.
There's so many
He-Man.
good ones, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was the He-Man song good? I don't remember.
He-Man.
I didn't. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, that is pretty good.
Yeah.
I tried to, if, we could touch on some rule stuff now. I mean, I tried to, pick songs that are memorable. I thought this one was memorable, although it wasn't like popular from a chart standpoint, where some of the songs actually are.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a memorable one. It was a good one to include, and there's that weird Toto connection with Joseph Williams.
I mean, the chorus is pretty hip, I gotta say.
Yep,
like once
absolutely.
they kick into it. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's hard to argue with that one. It's funny. Yeah, but I should have, or like Thundercat, maybe Thundercats was 90s, but there must have been a good amount of cartoons
There's a
that
ton.
would have worked.
There's a ton.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you about my parameters now then,
Sure.
just because we got into it. But I also sort of break my own rules. But so like I was initially, when you proposed this idea, I was initially a little bit iffy on it because I'm like, well, if I think about the nature of our show, especially if you listen to the podcast version on Spotify or Apple or something, we're kind of a radio show. We're almost like radio DJs talking about songs and then, playing the full song. A little bit different on YouTube where we just do the snippets, of course. But because of that, I'm like, well, would they put these songs on the radio? So then I was like, okay, well, if I kind of maintain that, if I compartmentalize it that way, then maybe I just choose songs that did get radio airplay and maybe did chart. So that became some of my parameters. Then I also, because you're right, there's a ton of great ones that don't necessarily, that wouldn't have done that. So I didn't pick them because they didn't go on the radio really. I guess the other parameters were they needed to be written around the show or for the show, of course. It couldn't just be something that was, old that they used. And
that eliminates a number.
It does. And then the show had to, it eliminates a few that are like amazing, which we'll get into, but
big ones. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The show also had to begin in the 80s. So it's okay if it crossed over into the 90s, but for me, if it started in the 70s, I didn't count it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's how I did it.
I did it where the majority of the show's run had to take place in the 80s.
Okay.
So if there was overlap either way, a little bit, I made a judgment call.
Yeah.
But mostly I did that. I tried to stick with stuff that was fully within the 80s. But yeah, I also tried to stay away from instrumental songs, which eliminated a lot and a lot of big ones, big hits.
Right.
So that was a parameter for me as well. I didn't necessarily pick, I tried to stay away from like what you said, like repurposing old songs.
Yep.
So
yeah,
that's kind of where I was at, but I did a kind of a judgment call also on a couple of them.
I like that we don't discuss the rules before we do it, actually.
No, I think it's better. Yeah. Because I don't know what you're going to do.
Right. All right, cool. Well, then shall we get to my number 5 then?
Yes.
Yeah. My number 5 is Everybody Knows Your Name. It's the theme song from Cheers.
World today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows.
There you go. Cheers.
Yep. That's a all-time classic, often touted as the best theme song ever for a show.
Yeah, and I think it's good, and it hit my parameters. It's not my favorite, but it's a good song.
No, it's a great song, and it's iconic.
Iconic. Yeah. So
it charted. It was a charting hit as well, right?
Yeah, it hit number 83 on the Hot 100.
Not bad.
Won an Emmy. So I mean, those got radio airplay, hit my parameters. So this is a song written by Gary Portnoy and Judy Hart Angelo.
Yes.
They also did Punky Brewster and Mr. Belvedere, which I thought was kind of funny.
Okay.
The Brewster one's pretty good, actually.
That's interesting because there's a few people, we could talk about this more. There's a few composers that are like the TV composers.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
One guy in particular, I'm sure we have the same guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but Gary was already kind of known as a writer. He was writing songs for Air Supply and Dolly Parton, among others. But they were friends. And Judy was like at a chance dinner with a Broadway producer who was looking for songs for a new musical he was writing. And so she'd never written a song before, but she went and talked to Gary and was like, hey, can we do this together? And they ended up doing it. The producer really liked the music, and it ended up going in a musical called Preppies. So then a couple of years later, Preppies, yay. It's a funny name. But it's exactly what you think. It's like prep school kids or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. So Judy ends up sending it to a friend who's connected in Hollywood, like a couple years later after the musical, I think 82 or something, sent it out there. And it ended up getting to Cheers producers, which are Glenn and Les Charles, brothers. And they heard, I think, the title track and was like, oh, this is a good song. Maybe we can repurpose this or rewrite this a little bit for the theme song. So Portnoy and Hart Angelo rewrote it a few times, and eventually they came to this version that they all like. It's funny, the original lyrics for the first verse are so bad, though. It says, it's singing the blues when the Red Sox lose. It's a crisis in your life.
Wow.
On the run because all your girlfriends want to be your wife.
What?
And the laundry tickets in the wash. What?
What?
So bad. So I'm glad they changed that into making it way in the world today. But
sure,
anyway, that's kind of the story around that. And they did a good job. Like, this is a cool song, got on the radio. The what plays over the ending credits slaps though. Do you remember that one?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
It's just a kind of a jazz swing version of this with the clarinet playing the theme song.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yep. That was a common trope also, to do the instrumental version or the jazzy version over the outro credits.
It's so good though. It's like, it's even better, but it didn't chart. So so
it goes.
But anyway, so Cheers is my number 5.
Good one. Moving on to my number 4.
Yep.
All right. My number 4 is The Facts of Life from The Facts of Life.
You take a bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life. There's a time you gotta go and show you grow, and now you know about the facts of life. The facts of life. When the world never seems to be living up to your dreams, and suddenly you're finding out the facts of life are all about you.
It's catchy and memorable. This one didn't really chart either, but it's got an interesting story to it, I think. I mean, it's got also a super memorable first line, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everyone knows it.
Yeah.
Whether it was a charting hit or not, everyone knows the Facts of Life song. Written by Alan Thicke, of all people.
Of course.
Did you know that one?
Yep, I did,
Yeah, okay. Who also wrote, so Facts of Life was a spin-off of Different Strokes, where Mrs. Garrett was on Different Strokes and then was on Facts of Life.
That's right.
Alan Thicke also wrote and sang the Different Strokes theme song.
Yep.
He wrote, that's crazy. He wrote like 40 TV theme songs, something like that. He wrote the original Wheel of Fortune song.
Yeah.
A number of other game show songs. It's pretty interesting. And he had kind of a dual career.
Yeah.
As a composer than actor.
Well, it makes sense that his son became a pop star.
His son's a musician. Yeah, sure, right? You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Facts of Life.
You know, what's crazy is I found out by the end of the song that the facts of life are all about me. I mean,
yeah, that's true. They tell you. They explain it all in there, which I appreciate.
I love that show. Of course, I watched it as a kid.
Yeah, totally.
It was a lot of fun. I feel like there was a lot of really, I don't know, they were similar and felt familiar sitcoms when we were kids.
Yes. There was a style, right?
There was a style. And so whenever you watched it, you just kind of felt comfortable.
Absolutely.
Maybe
this is one of those.
Maybe they don't hold up when you're an adult later in life. Maybe they were more geared towards something that a kid would accept more than maybe an adult. But yeah, I like this show, and I like Different Strokes too. It was a good one.
Yeah. This one is Facts of Life aired from 1979 to 1988, but it premiered in August of 79, so I gave it a pass.
Okay.
As the 80s, because it is kind of very much obviously associated with the 80s.
Yeah, I would never have questioned it. I would have assumed 80s. Yeah, that's a good one. Anything else you want to talk about with?
No, I'm good. Let's move on to your number 4.
Okay, so here's where I become a hypocrite and break my own rules. My number 4 is the theme from Night Court.
Awesome.
I love
this
it so
is
much.
such a good one. It is such a good one. This was on I had a separate kind of short list of instrumental ones from the 80s. And, this one's awesome.
I love it so much.
so good.
I'll tell you why I broke my rule for this one.
Okay.
So this didn't chart. This didn't hit the radio waves. As far as I know, it didn't hit radio. Maybe it did on some jazz charts, but
maybe
it did get turned into a jazz piece. Like I played this an arrangement of this in high school even.
Oh, really? Oh,
so
okay. That makes sense.
It definitely went around. Like that was kind of a popular song to do when, people our age in high school, I don't know, 10 years after the show had aired.
Right. That makes sense.
So,
I mean, it is really catchy.
Super catchy. Yeah. And so
it's arranged for jazz.
Right. So you can hear it, like if you just search for it on Spotify, you can hear like the full jazz arrangement of it, which is like a 3.5 minute song or something. And
Yep. Okay.
it's so good. So this was done by Jack Elliott, who also did Barney Miller, did Charlie's Angels, did the score for The Jerk and also the Oh God movies. I don't know if you remember that with Burns.
Okay. Yeah.
I remember Oh God, You Devil, I think came out in the 80s. I don't remember the original Oh God so much. But, and also produced the Blade Runner soundtrack. So he didn't do the music. Obviously, that's Vangelis, which is you know, one of the most iconic scores ever. But he produced that. So yeah, there isn't much of a story behind this. It's Jack Elliott, and then the saxophone player who's awesome on this is this guy named Ernie Watts, who also played with like Zappa and stuff. So a super talented guy. But that's kind of it. There's not much to it. I loved Night Court too. I don't know if you watched that as a kid, but I loved that show.
Yeah, some. You know, I definitely have seen it. I wasn't like obsessive, I guess.
Oh, I think I probably saw every episode. I loved that whole thing. That whole vibe.
It's definitely a good show. It's really funny.
Yeah. But that's it. Theme from Night Court is my number 4. So no pushback there. You're not saying you broke your own rules. You're out.
No, I think it's fine. Because it's a good song, and that's what matters more to me anyways. You know, rules are fine, but I like that you put it on there. It's a good tune.
All right, thanks. All right.
Yeah.
Want to move on to your number 3?
On. Yeah, my number 3 is Reading Rainbow from Reading Rainbow.
I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere. Friends to know and ways to grow, a reading rainbow. I can be anything. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. A reading rainbow. A reading rainbow. A reading rainbow. A reading rainbow.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's another classic. Yeah, this is a good one.
It's funny because it came up in like my list that I was looking at, and then I was like, I don't think so. But I didn't listen to it. I should have listened to it today because
it's good.
Like, holy shit.
I like it for a number of reasons. I mean, it's memorable, and it was a really good show, and it was really good educational programming.
Yep.
LeVar Burton, national treasure. I'll say it. Yeah, he's great. The original theme was used from 1983 to 1999. So the show went on forever. Yeah. Written by Steve Horlick, Dennis Neal Kleinman, and Janet Weir. I don't know how to say it. But sung by Tina Fabrique.
Name doesn't sound familiar.
I have no idea who any of those people are, I don't think.
Yeah.
One interesting thing about it, though, is that it is one of the first uses of a Buchla synthesizer in a TV theme song. Okay. And that's what all that kind of pulsing synth stuff is. It's kind of like a... Yeah.
Sort of
like
arpeggiates
modular,
or something.
Yeah, it's like a modular looking synth. It's got you patch with all the patch cables and stuff. You look up a picture of it; it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So used famously by Morton Subotnick on the Silver Apples of the Moon. If you've never heard of that,
I don't know what that
you
is.
should listen to it.
What is it?
He's like an avant-garde composer. It's an interesting piece. It's worth listening to.
Cool. Yeah, I was going to mention the synth too. It's a cool sound.
Yeah, it's memorable, right? And I mean, synths in the 80s is they go hand in hand. I mean, the Buchla's older than that. I think it came out first in the 60s.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a cool one.
LeVar Burton and other celebrities reading books.
I know.
Getting kids to read. It's a good positive show that had a long run.
I know. Yeah.
Quality educational programming. There was a really good song.
A lot of good television for us as kids. I mean, between Mr. Rogers,
absolutely.
Super Positive, and Reading Rainbow, and even Sesame Street, those things are like... Those things are really good
educational programming. Yeah.
Yeah. It's better than this Baby Shark crap that we see. Cool. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about with Reading Rainbow?
No, that's all I had for Reading Rainbow.
Okay. This one is my number 3 is Hill Street Blues theme.
Nice one.
No
Another
voice.
classic 80s. Nope, not needed though when you got my guy, Mike Post. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, your guy, Mike. Exactly.
He's the king. He's the king of TV themes as far as I'm concerned.
That's right. He's the king.
He wrote so many awesome ones, including this one.
Yeah. In fact, I brought another, this is a first on Ultimate Playlist, but I brought another piece to listen to while we took, because I knew we were going to talk about Mike Post a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So I brought another one that wouldn't have fit in our parameters,
Gotcha.
but that we should listen to in just a minute. We'll do that in just a minute. Let's just talk about this one first. So even though it had no vocals, it still charted. It hit number 10 on the Hot 100. 10.
Crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, there's like so few of those. Like you kind of think of like boo 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 boo, like Chariots of Fire or something. Like there's just like a few that would get there.
Crossover, right?
Yeah. But crazy enough, this was his second top 10. We'll play the other one in just a minute. But anyway, so you're exactly right. He did Hill Street Blues, A-Team, which is amazing, Quantum Leap.
It's awesome. That one's good. Quantum Leap, of course.
Leap. Law and Order, Magnum PI, which is a great one. LA Law, NYPD Blue, which I don't know if you listened to NYPD Blue today. I know it's in the 90s, so it doesn't count. But did you come across and listen to that today?
No, I didn't actually.
Dude, and
is it awesome? I'm sure it's awesome.
It brought me back. So it's like, it's sounds of the city, like you hear like a chugging of a subway and like city sounds. And then the music like comes in and all the city sounds like fade out. And it gets so melancholy when everything fades out. It's such an amazing piece of music. I highly recommend anybody listen to the intro music to NYPD Blue.
I'll brush up on that one.
Such a great one. But Mike Post, besides being
he's great.
An MNFer writing all this stuff, he also produced Van Halen 3.
I saw that.
He did with Sharon. I think is it right? The singer Sharon, right? The guy from Extreme, isn't that his last name? Gary Sharon?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, good. I was mixing his name. Produced that. Produced
Gary Sharon. Yeah.
Produced Kenny Rogers' first 3 records.
Crazy, right?
Dolly Parton's 9 to 5.
Unreal.
Won a Grammy as an arranger. Like the guy is just legitimate.
Everywhere. Yeah. He was so popular in the 80s that he had to have like a firm of like sub composers that he farmed the work out to write in his style. Pretty interesting.
Yeah. He here are his charting singles.
Okay.
So, Theme from LA Law on the alternative chart hit number 13. Magnum PI hit number 25 on the Hot 100.
Wow.
Hill Street Blues was 10, as I mentioned, but also hit number 4 on the adult contemporary chart. The Theme, which we might get to from the Greatest American Hero, believe it or not, that hit number 2 on the Hot 100.
Yeah.
And
Crazy.
Also number 3 on the adult contemporary. You had Manhattan Spiritual hit number, I don't know what that is, hit number 56. And then the last one is the one that I want to play next, and that is the theme from the Rockford Files. Hit number 10. Good. Check this out.
And this is from the 70s, right?
Yeah. What?
That's awesome.
That is so good. That might be the best thing I've ever heard.
It's really good. Yeah.
Oh my God, like the synth.
That's a classic too. Yeah, the synth into the harmonica or whatever is pretty awesome. It's pretty great.
Oh yeah, I love Mr. Post. He's so good.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Hill Street Blues, a little bit maybe outside, but it hit number 10, and I don't know, a great one.
And it's Mike Post, and to continue on with a little bit more Mike Post, my number 2 is Believe It or Not, the theme from The Greatest American Hero.
Look at what's happened to me. I can't believe it myself. Suddenly I'm up on top of the world. It should have been somebody else. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free.
song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Like we said, number 2 on the Hot 100. That's a huge hit. It was kept off the top of the charts by "Endless Love"
Oh, really?
by Diana Ross and Lionel Richie. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's
But it was
funny.
18 weeks in the top 40.
That's crazy.
It went to number 3 on the adult contemporary chart. And it also peaked at the number 1 position on the record world chart. So it's a big hit.
That is a big hit. Yeah.
Yeah. The show, on the other hand, was not. It was a weird show. Did you watch that show?
Yeah, I watched probably every episode as a kid. Yep.
Yeah. I definitely watched it, and I guess I didn't remember the premise of it, that he's given a suit by aliens that gives him superpowers.
Yep.
I knew he had superpowers, I guess. I just didn't remember why he had them.
Yeah.
But that's why.
He was given a suit and he was instructed to work with this particular FBI agent, I think,
Right.
to solve crimes, I guess. And I remember, so I looked at, because this is not on my list, but it's like, it just missed.
Right, sure.
I wasn't going to do multiple posts. So
Gotcha.
So anyway, but it's definitely on my short list. So I looked into this today too, because I was like, why did they cancel? It had 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't figure out why they canceled it. It must have been ratings, but nothing explicitly was said. I went through like the wiki article and stuff, and it never said why it was canceled. So there's kind of a
Interesting.
cult love of this thing because it's so goofy. He was so goofy.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Like his character, he never really learned to fly. I don't know if you remember this, but like they goofed around
Right.
with him being a superhero and
Yeah,
how
he was
he
kind
like
of
had a hard time with
bumbling,
it.
right?
He was bumbling
Yeah.
every time he would go to fly. He would crash land wherever
Right.
he was trying to go.
Sure.
Yeah, I remember it being like a positive show. I think he was a school teacher, and you know, he just sort of, he kind of had a good personality but sort of a reluctant hero that was just bumbly.
And then he was in the movie House with Bull from Night Court. William Catt, the actor.
What was the movie? What's the movie House?
It's like a horror movie about a haunted house.
Yeah.
He was like a Vietnam vet with PTSD, and Bull from Night Court was in it, was his buddy.
Yeah, that's right.
And then came back to haunt him.
That's right.
So there's your Night Court connection.
Yeah, he didn't have too much of a career after this.
I don't think so.
But you know, I really like that show. I don't know. Like, I remember it on like, it was definitely on at night. I don't remember if it was on like a weekend night, but I'm pretty sure I watched every episode of it.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's a very good one. Any more on Believe It or Not?
Nope, Mike Post, the king of theme songs.
The king.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to move on. This might also, so here I am breaking my own goddamn rules again, so you might push back on me. But this is Fame. Remember.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's pretty iconic, pretty 80s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Fame was written by Michael Gore and Dean Pritchford. We talked about Michael Pritchford before on the 80s movie show, which we'll talk about him again, but made famous by Irene Cara. She had a few songs.
Yes.
She was 21 when Fame came out, the movie version. This is the TV.
Okay.
Went to TV. And then she also did Flashdance. She co-wrote and sang Flashdance, the song, when she was 24. Like, she was just a kid when she was doing
On
these
fire,
things.
yeah.
She was on fire. But it's controversial, as I mentioned, because it was a movie first. 1980, the movie Fame came out, and then it got turned into the TV show. So, I don't know. I mean,
Still a TV show. I mean, it is the theme song to that TV show. It definitely counts.
Yeah, I mean, you could push back on me and say that it was a theme song for the movie first, and so it wasn't written for the TV, but I just kind of think it's ubiquitous. I used to
think
watch
it's
the
fine.
TV show.
Yeah, it's the same brand, right? I mean, it's kind of an extension of the movie.
Yeah.
It's not like the TV show was significantly different, right?
Yeah, and it came out in the 80s too, so I didn't cross you.
And it's super 80s. It's super 80s.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Approved.
Yeah, so this song got an Oscar nomination, got a Grammy nomination too. This launched Irene Cara's career.
Yep.
Michael Gore and Dean Pitchford are the two writers. Pitchford, as I mentioned, is significant because he wrote for a bunch of other people too, like Dolly Parton, Melissa Manchester, Kenny Loggins, all sorts of people, but he wrote the theme song for Solid Gold as well. And he wrote the screenplay for Footloose, as well as collaborated on 9 of the songs on the soundtrack. So
wow. Okay.
So that's like Footloose, Let's Hear It for the Boy, Holding Out for a Hero, Almost Paradise, all those songs he co-wrote, which that album sold 17 million copies. It displaced Thriller from the number 1 spot and maintained the number 1 spot on the album 200 for 10 weeks. And had a bunch of Grammy nominations for all the songs and all that stuff too. So
mega. It's a mega song.
Yeah. Great song. Yeah. So I mean, I had to get that in there. Fame.
Yeah. That was it? Number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. Did you say that?
Oh, I didn't say that. Was that no? Thanks for telling me. Yeah.
That's what I saw I think from the movie before the series came out.
Yeah.
In 1980, but still a huge hit.
Huge hit.
Everyone remembers it.
Yeah. Cool. So anyway, that's my number 2.
Good one. Moving on to my number 1.
I guess you're number 1.
Okay. My number 1 is Good Old Boys from the Dukes of Hazzard.
Never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw. Been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Straightening the curves, flattening the hills. Someday the mountain might get 'em, but the law never will. Making their way, the only way they know how.
The only way they know how.
Exactly. As moonshiners.
That's right.
The Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
So this one, technically, Dukes of Hazzard started in 79, but went to 85. So I pushed the boundaries on this. And this was actually a hit for Waylon Jennings, of course, who wrote the song and sings it. And it was like the narrator on the show or whatever.
He was.
So this was a big country hit. It was a number 1 country hit, which was actually his 12th country hit.
Yes.
Number 1. Crazy. It was on the Billboard Hot 100 as well. Number 21.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
No.
Not too shabby. It's a good tune. It it tells the story of Bo and Luke Duke. A couple of good old boys who ran moonshine and were in trouble with the law since the day they were born.
Boss Hogg.
Yep, Boss Hogg, Enos, many classic characters.
Oh,
I guess the car is kind of sure. I guess the car is kind of problematic by today's standards.
Probably.
With it. But man, that's a good show.
Yeah, and an amazing
Action,
song.
comedy. Yeah, totally.
And this is my number 1 as well. So
okay, great.
We're in 100% agreement on this.
Yeah,
Like this is an amazing
song's
song.
Awesome.
I love
It
this
is good.
song. Yeah,
It's real good.
So the interesting thing is there are 2 versions of it. So I don't, this fit my parameters because I thought it was released in 1980, but maybe that's just when the song was released on his album.
Maybe.
So that's what I found.
Yeah, I saw that Dukes of Hazzard started in 79, but I also saw that the song came out in 80, so it was a little confusing. But
Yeah. We're just going to count it.
Going with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're exactly right, though. What happened originally was in 1975, Waylon Jennings was the narrator for a movie called Moonrunners. And it was a moonshine. What is it?
Moonshiners?
Moonshiner.
Movie about moonshining?
Moonshining is the term, right? For alcohol you make.
Moonshine is the beverage.
Is the beverage.
Moonshiners are the people. Moonshining is the act, I think.
So a moonshining family. This is a 1975 movie. It was a B movie. I don't think it went anywhere. But that premise got turned into the Dukes of Hazzard. And so the producers and writers of the movie approached Waylon again and was like, hey, can you do this thing again? Because he was the narrator on that as well.
Same role or whatever.
So be the narrator, write the song. And he's like, yeah, I'd love to do it. So it was reworked. And it makes sense. He's got an awesome voice for this type of thing.
Yeah, he does. It's perfect.
Such an iconic voiceover on that show. He's a character. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't imagine someone else doing it.
Waylon Jennings, my kind of country singer, by the way. I'm not a big country guy.
Country? No, he's good.
But he's great. Him and like Willie Nelson, and they collaborated on a lot of stuff. But
Sure.
that's like my kind of country.
Absolutely.
But so I looked up some things on Waylon Jennings. So between 1965 and 1991, the dude had 96 singles hit the Billboard country charts.
Wow. That's crazy.
16 went to number 1.
Wow.
He had 54 albums chart. What?
Who even makes that many albums?
He's just spitting them out.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Wow. Impressive.
Classic.
Impressive and prolific.
Classic songs too, like Mama Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys and Good Hearted
Right.
Woman. And of course this one. So he's just, I love him.
Yeah.
And just a
Iconic.
ruckus bastard, drinking, boozing, and,
Absolutely.
and drugging and partying.
Talked it
and
like he walks it.
crazy.
Walks
yeah.
it like he talks it. Yeah.
Yeah. And paid for it in the end, but that's what you do. You go out hard.
Catches up with you. Yep. Absolutely.
All right. What
But his
did we miss?
contribution to the classic show. I mean,
yeah.
there's so many. It depends on how you want to break it down. And how much of a cheese factor you're willing to tolerate, you know?
Yeah, that's a good
There
question.
are some songs that were pretty good, like Golden Girls, Thank You for Being a Friend. That one's pretty good.
It's an amazing song. Andrew
yeah.
Gold, I love that song. And had it fit my parameters, it would have been on my list. But the
Oh, okay.
problem with that is
Oh, it was released before, right?
1978 by Andrew Gold. And so,
And it was actually a hit.
It was a hit. That's what I mean. Yes, It was a hit. So, yeah, but I absolutely would. I love that song. I would have definitely
Yeah,
put
it's
that
good.
on my list. And then it was repurposed for the Golden Girls. A female
Yep.
singer, I can't remember her name, was
Yeah.
the one that did it. But I love
Right.
that song so much.
Yep,
But,
it's good.
Great one.
I mean, a number one hit was the Miami Vice theme, of course, by Jan Hammer.
Yes.
Which is pretty awesome. I mean, it's so 80s. Oh my God, it's so 80s with the toms. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Did you check out the video of that today? Because I did.
Yeah, It's so 80s. Oh my God.
So
It's-
during the music video is Jan Hammer by himself in like a darkened room studio with multiple instruments that he's playing, and he's watching like clips from Miami Vice.
Sure.
And it's super cheesy. And when the thing that killed me is during the guitar solo, he has a guitar in his hands and he's trying to mime the guitar solo on the
Awesome.
guitar.
It's awesome.
And I'm like, what are you doing, Jan?
Hey, you got let him have it. Let him have it.
It is certainly iconic though.
That's pretty good. But yeah, so that didn't make it to either of our lists. I left it off because it's instrumental.
Yeah.
But man, it's a classic. Let's see. I mean, there's other. If it depends on where you want to go. If you want to go cartoons, I mean, the DuckTales song's pretty good.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah.
That was not 90s? That was 80s?
Was that 90s? Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe it
DuckTales,
came out.
woo.
Yeah,
Do-do-do-do-do. No,
it certainly
explains.
overlapped.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when that came out.
Yeah, I can't. That would have, I'm pretty sure that was 90s. It was like
Okay.
DuckTales, Darkwing Duck. There was a bunch of
Yeah.
them. What was the other one with Baloo the bear? The Tailspin. Those are all kind of the same time period, I think.
I don't know, man. DuckTales, 1987 to 1990.
Crap. Well, I guess.
And then I think it was just in syndication after that because it was
Oh,
on
maybe.
all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. What other, do you have other cartoons that you were thinking about?
No, that was most of them, I think. I mean, there's Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, of course.
That's a good one.
Ooh-doo-doo-doo-doo. I wonder when Danger Mouse was.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one,
He's the
too.
greatest. Whenever I'm in trouble, I'll be there. Danger Mouse.
Yeah.
That one's a good one, right?
That is good.
I'm not sure if that was 80s or 90s. That was a crazy one because that had Banana Man. When Eric eats a banana, he becomes Banana Man. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
It was
I
like-
remember Danger Mouse vaguely.
In the cartoon Danger Mouse, contained within Danger Mouse, it's like they'd almost
It
go
was a
into
sub cartoon.
commercial. Yeah, and you'd have Banana Man for like a couple minutes.
Gotcha. I'm sure if I saw it, I would remember it, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't
Yeah.
visualize it.
It's like Popeye with his spinach, except for when Eric eats a
Sure.
banana. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't go after any of the cartoons. But Danger Mouse is a great one. Inspector Gadget's a great one, of course, too.
Yep.
The other ones.
there's-
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was just gonna say, like, the other ones, the other instrumental ones, like Magnum PI is a great one.
Sure.
Knight Rider's a great
Yep.
one. So good.
A-Team.
A-Team, another one.
excellent.
Airwolf, another good one.
That one's
too.
good. That one's good.
Yep. I also had
MacGyver, solid.
MacGyver's a really good one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He was so positive. I was looking at that today too.
Yeah.
His character was so positive. He's just going around the world.
Yep.
It's like what you expect, what you want from a government organization is that they're
Right.
going to go around the world and like help people. And that's not
Yeah,
how it
get
turns
stuff
out
done.
to be. But he's
solving
like
problems.
solving problems. He's a secret agent. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. He uses defensive force and he just helps people in need. What a great
Yep.
like role model.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Cagney and Lacey actually has a pretty good
Oh, okay.
theme song that was
Yep.
done by Bill Conti, who did all the Rocky music. So
Okay.
that was another good one. But yeah. The other one that so the other one, right? That is just an amazing theme song for a show, but just it can't work because of my parameters. Was of course Joe Cocker's version of "Little Help from My Friends" that was
Wonder
beginning of
Years.
the Wonder Years.
Yep.
So good, but just doesn't. His version is better than the Beatles
No, it
version.
doesn't fit. Yeah, for sure.
But
It's great.
Doesn't fit.
And it was perfect
Yeah.
for that show. But yeah, it's
Perfect.
but it's also associated with that show.
Yes.
Totally. But yeah, no, I avoided that for the same reason.
Yeah. Yep. But a great one. So any other ones we're missing?
I think that covers most of them. I mean, Quantum Leap, of course, is great.
Yeah, right.
Anything Mike Post is should be on any short list because he's pretty awesome.
He is really awesome.
But that covers. I think that's most of the ones that I had. Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them I revisited that I thought that I remember liking, but they were really bad.
Like what?
Like Charles in Charge.
Yeah.
Super cheesy.
Yep.
Real cheesy. The Full House song, pretty cheesy.
Yep. I checked out
stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I looked at Full House today too. I knew that was cheesy. It kind of sounds like
I didn't remember how cheesy though.
Sounds like very Randy Newman-ish. I'm not a Randy Newman guy
Yeah.
at all. I don't like him, but so it has that vibe to it.
Right.
I'm just like,
Yeah,
I
it
don't
definitely
like it.
does.
Alf has a kind of an interesting one, but didn't make my list.
Yep.
Mr. Belvedere's,
Yep.
not so good. Punky Brewster's was pretty good.
Not
but,
bad.
Yeah, that was kind of my thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Well, no other
That's
thoughts.
all I got.
All right.
Nope.
Well, it worked out better than maybe I thought it would, and
Cool.
yeah, I think I think people will appreciate listening to
Good.
these songs. All right. Well then, I guess we'll see you on the next one. So for Briggs, I'm Matt. This has been Ultimate Playlist. See you next time. Bye.